Reports of ICE on Uindy's campus have students and faculty on edge.
A top priority bill passed in the Senate committee.
And autism advocates are urging the Braun administration to reverse course on Medicaid cuts. All this and more on Uindy TV News.
Uindy TV News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Nate Long.
And I'm Mia Lemkuel. Tonight we start with breaking news. ICE has made their way onto Uindy's campus. There's been multiple reports of officers asking students for their IDs. Uindy faculty got sent an email regarding the situation, stating that all Uindy faculty are to contact Uindy Chief of Police and notify Cindy Carrasco in the General Counsel's office. Faculty have been told not to speak until services arrive. This information has only been sent to faculty, leaving many students questioning their safety.
Over 100 people gathered outside of the Indiana State House after Governor Mike Braun made an executive order. This mandates law enforcement in Indiana to cooperate with ICE agents. This executive order follows Trump's order, which strongly encourages state and local governments to deputize police to enforce immigration laws. House Bill 1393 is also contributing to the protests. If passed, it will require all Indiana sheriffs to cooperate with ICE to remove undocumented immigrants facing legal challenges. These protests have become more frequent as an increasing number of laws are being pushed through legislation.
Uindy received quite the donation. Reporter Kendall Pearson with the story.
School of Business received a $5 million grant. I sat down with Krista Newton, professor and director of Stephen F. Fry Scholar Program, to see what this means for students and our faculty.
Stephen is very passionate about Uindy, obviously, because he is part of our board and trustees, and in addition to that, he's also very active. He wanted to give back to what he contributed in his career to the School of Business in particular, because that's what made a big impact for him. So there's three pieces to it. The first is the Scholars Program. So it will be awarding a $5,000 annual scholarship for each scholar coming into the program. Those scholars will be part of this cohort, and each year they will be working to with service projects, leadership projects, and then also mentoring with a number of people within the community and on the Uindy campus. So making sure that they're as successful as they possibly can be. And I'm excited because I'm really excited because it's going to elevate Uindy as an overall, just a perception of Uindy. And I think, getting us out into the marketplace, getting us into the business arena, having these scholars out there representing Uindy is just going to be a benefit for additional students and additional exposure.
Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles went head-to-head this Sunday in New Orleans. The Eagles were looking to hurt the dynasty of the Chiefs, while the Chiefs look to do what has never been done before, win 3 straight Super Bowls. The Eagles came to this game on a mission, where they scored 24 unanswered points in the first half. Patrick Mahomes struggled to find any real freedom as he was sacked 6 times and had 3 turnovers, in a rare Mahomes playoff loss. The Eagles ran the rest of the game away in the second half, winning the game 40-22. The Eagles were led by Jalen Hurts, who ended up winning the Super Bowl MVP, and Cooper DeJean, who had his first career interception not only during the Super Bowl, but also his birthday. From 60 minutes of great football to Kendrick Lamar during halftime, last Sunday had it all.
Sunday did have it all, along with some entertaining and impactful commercials. Indiana Fever's very own Caitlin Clark was featured in this year's Super Bowl ad for Nike. This is the first time that a Nike ad has played in the Super Bowl since 1998. The ad shows the double standards that women face in sports and the doubts of their true ability. The ad's message was that whatever women do in sports, they can't win. Nike's answer to that message was, so win. Other big women athlete names in the Super Bowl ad were Sophia Wilson, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Aja Wilson.
It was very cool to see a fellow Hoosier in the Super Bowl, especially when promoting such a strong message. Coming up, information about what Indiana officials are doing and how it affects you on Uindy TV News.
National, local, campus, Headlines you won't find anywhere else. From the White House to your community, we've got you covered. Stay informed and stay connected. Don't miss out on the stories shaping our world. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Uindy TV News.
Senate Republicans' top priority bill to enact meaningful property tax passed in the Senate committee. Travis Holdman authored Senate Bill 1, which will limit property tax growth for all Hoosiers. This includes reforms to the referendum process, along with specific property tax relief to homeowners and farmers. This is projected to save Hoosier taxpayers $1.4 billion on their property tax bills over the next 3 years.
Autism advocates are urging the Braun administration to reverse course on Medicaid cuts targeting applied behavior analysis, or ABA therapy. The Indiana Family and Social Services Administration plans to limit coverage of the popular autism therapy in effort to help stop improper Medicaid payments. The new rules set to take effect April 1st. Coverage will be limited to 30 hours a week in 3 years total. This will result in many individuals who currently rely on ABA therapy to be cut off. The rules could also result in an influx in special needs children in the public school system. ARC of Indiana is working with lawmakers to convince the FSSA to pause these changes until alternate options can be discussed. The state has already taken several steps to crack down on Medicaid under the Braun administration, including ordering providers to stop advertising Medicaid programs on radio and television.
Tomorrow, over 100 advocates will join at the State House for the Alzheimer's Association State Advocacy Day. This is to push for critical legislation that prioritizes support for the 121,000 Hoosiers living with the disease. The association is calling on state lawmakers to enact legislation that incorporates Alzheimer's and dementia into existing public health outreach programs. They are also urging lawmakers to require health insurance coverage of Alzheimer's treatments for the state of Indiana employees.
Young writers in Indianapolis had a special opportunity to showcase their talents at the Young Authors Day Literacy Fair. This event featured dozens of published works from local students. Organized by literacy advocate Tasha Jones, the event highlighted the creativity of young authors and encouraged them to see themselves as real writers. Throughout the day, attendees met the authors, listened to book readings, and even had the chance to purchase copies of their work. Jones says the event is about more than just books. It's about building confidence and inspiring creativity. She believes that when young people see their words in print, it encourages them to keep writing and sharing their ideas. The event proves that storytelling has no age limit, and every young voice deserves to be heard.
Apparently, we are getting snow or rain tonight. Jace, what can we expect?
Guys, it'll be a little bit of both. As you look outside right now, 37 degrees, cloudy, but that rain is moving into the area. You might think it's just rain. Well, it's not as simple as that. It's some freezing rain, and as that rain hits the ground with those low temperatures on the ground, it will freeze and cause kind of an icy glaze on the roads. So while you're making your commute home or commute back to work or whatnot, watch out for the roads, because especially north of the I-70 corridor, those roads are going to be slick and wet and icy, so it can cause some accidents, some slow traffic. So be safe as you're out on those roads, and that rain and freezing rain might transition into some snow as we head into tomorrow morning, but we'll look into the weekend forecast coming up in a little bit. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jace. IMPD Sergeant Sarah Lampkin was seen on surveillance video hiding items in a plastic tote and switching price tags before using self-checkout. Target security confronted her as she left, but instead of identifying herself as an officer, she asked them not to report the theft. Lampkin then called in a favor, texting an on-duty officer to respond to the scene. That officer later filed an incomplete report. The stolen items amounted to $185. She's been charged with misdemeanor theft and placed on paid leave pending the internal investigation.
A man has been arrested after a long standoff at a hotel in Bloomington. Deputies were called to Homewood Suites to detain Samuel Baumgartner, who was wanted on 2 felony warrants. Baumgartner was armed, which caused deputies to back away and call the Bloomington PD's critical incident response team. After 6 hours of negotiating, he was taken into custody. He currently faces 5 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts.
The Uindy Art and Design Department opened the Hullabaloo Press Exhibition on Monday. The Crystal DeHaan Fine Arts Gallery is showcasing 2 collections which will be added to Uindy's permanent collection. The printed walk by Lindsay Schmidl documents her journey on the Appalachian Trail. Hey, I'm at 20, a collection from 34 artists, celebrates the 20th year anniversary of the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum.
Every spring, Uindy Pride hosts a drag show on campus. This year, it falls on February 28th. In 2019, the 13th annual event raised over $1,500 for Indiana Youth Group, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting Hoosier LGBTQ youth. Follow Uindy Pride on Instagram to keep updated on their annual drag show this year.
Black History Month kicks off at the University of Indianapolis to highlight, uplift, and amplify Black voices in February. Celebrations began with a barbershop talk last Thursday, where men in the Greyhound community came to receive free haircuts while listening to speaker Joshua Posley talk about being a man in the 21st century. This week, a pop-up concert with Pulitzer Prize-winning composer Anthony Davis took place on Monday. The concert featured his works that, quote, blend jazz, avant-garde, and classical music. Black History Month celebrations end with a poetry slam this Thursday and a Black Excellence Dinner next Thursday. However, Student Affairs said Black history is not confined to just 1 month of celebration. It exists throughout the entire year.
With 5 games left in the regular season, the UIndy men's basketball team sits just outside the top 8 teams in the GLVC. They currently hold a conference record of 7-8 after beating Maryville and losing to Missouri St. Louis this past weekend. Levante Harris had a breakout performance on Thursday, knocking down 6 3-pointers to raise the Hounds to victory. However, Deshaun Jackson was the star of the show, scoring a combined 34 points between the 2 contests. The Grounds will be back in action tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time as they make the trip to Springfield, Illinois to take on the Prairie Stars.
Stay tuned for your future forecast with meteorologist Jakes Hodge.
Good morning, Greyhounds.
Your weekly dose of Greyhound entertainment.
I think if you watch our team, they have fun. You know, they have fun playing.
There's so much that you can do to get the most out of yours.
Our alumni care deeply about the success of this university.
Come here. Watch Good Morning Greyhounds every Saturday at 9 a.m. Catch us on UIndy TV's YouTube channel and Xfinity channel 1096.
I mentioned some of that weather overnight. As we look into Thursday, that low pressure system will move out of the way, bringing in a high pressure system, which should cool things off and keep things a little bit drier. But that won't last very long. So we head into Friday, high of 36. It'll be very cold in the morning, about 15 degrees in the morning. So expect some possible ice on the roads from that weather we're going to get overnight from tonight into tomorrow. But as that system moves out of the way, there is a low pressure system that is bringing in moisture from the south. It's going to make its way up to the north and into central Indiana beginning on Saturday. It'll begin as rain, a little bit warmer on Saturday, high of 43, but it is also bringing a cold front along. So as we head into Saturday nights, some freezing rain and some snow will be possible again. And expect maybe a little bit more than what we are expecting tonight. And then that snow and rain will continue on through Sunday. It shouldn't be much of an accumulation. It'll be just kind of flurries and freezing rain, but I do expect some problems to be caused down on the roads. And then after Sunday, that cold front will officially push its way through, and it'll be very cold beginning on Monday. Back to you guys.
Millions of Americans are being scammed with fraudulent text messages. Scammers are impersonating toll agencies, sending texts claiming unpaid tolls and directing victims to fake payment links, which steal personal and financial information. Federal and state level authorities are continuing to counter scammers with public information campaigns.
Israel threatened to resume hostilities with Hamas and Gaza unless they release hostages under a ceasefire agreement this weekend. President Trump spoke on the topic as well.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
Google Maps has changed the Gulf of Mexico's name to the Gulf of America for people using the app in the U.S. Google said it was making the change as part of a long-standing practice of following name changes when updated by official government sources. Mexico has argued that the U.S. had no legal right to change the Gulf's name. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, has asked Google to reconsider their decision to rename the Gulf of Mexico. As of last night, Apple also changed their maps to say Gulf of America. Now, I'm going to be honest. Do we really need this?
Do we really care? I mean, yeah, think about it. I mean, what does that do for anything? I mean, yes, you change the name of a map, but there's nothing that goes on that changes anything logistically.
I mean, it's the same body of water.
Same body of water, but hey, you changed the name. I mean, you change it now, and that's all that you're going to get. There's nothing you can do now.
Yeah, there's nothing. I guess we just call it Gulf of America now. Sure.
Gulf of America. But thank you for watching Uindy TV News.
Be sure to tune in to all other Uindy TV productions on our YouTube and Xfinity channel 1096.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram to keep up with the latest campus news and projects. For Uindy TV News, I'm Nate Long.
And I'm Mia Lemkiel. Have a good night and stay safe, Indy.